Hello, hi everybody. Welcome to week 9. So, today I will talk about the lab session for this week. So, this is the outline for this week. First, I will talk about the Linux image, how to download the virtual machine, how to set up it, how to open the image in the virtual machine. I'll also describe about the basic step of creating database, and the last one also include the basic command of Linux. Okay, at first, Linux image. First of all, you need to download the Linux image. So this is the Google Drive link. You just simply copy paste at any internet browser and simply download it. After that, you can download the virtual machine. So here we have a option whether you want to use VMware or VirtualBox. For if you are using the VMware, the top link you can choose the top link, and then if you prefer VirtualBox, you can choose the below. Okay, after you download the virtual machine, so you need to set up the software. If you prefer VirtualBox, so this is the procedure how to set up it. At first, you need to create new button. Then you need to fill up the form. At first, you need to fill up name. You can name anything, mention folder, and then please make sure for type and version. You need to choose the Linux and Ubuntu 64-bit. This one is compulsory. And memory size, actually you can choose anything, but I prefer this amount 172 MB. The last one, you need to set up the hard disk. Choose the option use an existing virtual hard disk file. Then after that you can create. However, if you preferring the VMware software, so this is the procedure. This one is quite straightforward procedure. When after you open the software, you can simply click open a virtual machine. Then you just open the Linux image. That's all. Very straightforward. After open, you need to log in. You can use login by using the admin, and then after that you need to open the software of MySQL workbench. You need to click the top part, and after that you need to search. First we can try to search M, then it will show the suggestion. So when you see MySQL workbench, choose that. That's all. After you open, you can create the database. So this is the basic procedure how to create the database. Firstly, you need to create the new connection. Then you can open the connection. Then you can create the new database. After you create the connection, it's not just create the database. You need to create the connection first, and then you can create the new table. The last one is a table relationship. After this, I will show you the details, how to go through your lab question. This is the basic command of Linux. I think you can use if you want to, for example, if you want to delete the file, you can refer to here. And then this one is also reference for basic command for Linux. So this is the end of this slide, and then I will show you how to answer the lab question for this week. Now I will show you how to open the MySQL workbench. So at first we need to open the MySQL workbench here, and then we just simply click sales order connection. Okay, why we need to click this sales order connection? Yeah, of course, at first we need to create the new connection. This is a basic that I already teach you before in the slide, but since since the connection already done by previous user, so that's when we just open it. Maybe we can use the existing connection, and then so I need to close it first. Close it first. Then you can try open the another workbench, put it side by side. So open the sales order connection, then this one you can put at the right part. So this left part, this one for right part. At first we need to create at least new tab for each MySQL workbench. I think 5 tab for one workbench only. For example here, you can create a 5 tab. Okay, why we need to create 5 tab? The reason is because at first I want to copy paste the coding, the SQL statement coding into here. So I should already write it my own, and then I just need to copy because we don't need to. There is a situation in this lab question. We don't need to run all the statement. There is maybe we can run the T1 only, maybe we can run T2 only. So that's why we need to copy paste here first. So this is the coding of SQL for T1 and T2. The top is the T1, the below is the T2. And after that, we need to copy paste the SQL statement for creating the database sales order example, and the coding of SQL statement for inserting the data inside the sales order example database. So the coding actually is located in this Linux image. You just simply open the home here, and then find the big 10. So this open sales order structure, double click. Okay, Control A, Control C. Then you can close it. You can paste it as in the SQL 512. Okay, after that you need to copy the sales order data. Simply B, and then simply paste it here. Okay, okay, and then you can close the file explorer. Okay, now we can go to lab 9. So at first we need to imagine there are two MySQL workbench here, and they may be the left part represent of the user from New Delhi, and then maybe in the right part it represent the user from Melbourne. So this is two different user here that using same database, maybe in the same time, maybe in different time. But the idea is I want to show to you how the situation will look like if the two different person in two different location that using the same database in the same server. For example, maybe there is a conflicting, so maybe the New Delhi say, I want to update, just update, and then maybe at the Melbourne will say, I want to delete, but the Delhi cannot update because the data has been deleted at the Melbourne. So this is the issue that we raise in the lab. So at first you need to create, after you creating this one, okay, I will show you the command, what the purpose the command of the SQL 512 and SQL 513. SQL 512 basically is to create the new database of sales order example here. And then SQL 513, the command here, the purpose of the command here is to insert the data in the database of sales order example. Okay, get it? Okay, for example, I want to delete the database. Okay, I will show you. This is a problem if we have a small computer. Just drop. For example, I want to drop it, delete it. Okay, what happened? It missing, right? It missing, right? Yeah. Other user cannot access the database. Why? Because it already have been deleted by the New Delhi user. The Melbourne also cannot delete it. So how? I just run this SQL 512 command. Click here, and you see here the new database of we will create. Sales order example database has been created. But currently, database that has been created, there is no data inside there because the database is empty. Then I need to run SQL 513 in order to insert data to the database. Okay, how I run? Now loading because inserting many things in the database. Okay, so now the data has been inserted into the database, into the table. For Melbourne side, you see maybe because you see it not exist still exist. Actually, it already existed, but the Melbourne should refresh the interface in the MySQL workbench first in order to see it. Okay, now tada thing. Okay. Okay, understood. So this is the purpose of the SQL 512 and SQL 513. Because after this, we will run a T1 command, T2 command. The T1, T2 command is involving the creating and maybe a deleting, erupting, maybe it make the changes of the existing database. So sometime after that we need to reset the database, right? So this is the purpose of the SQL 512 and 13 is to reset the database to be the original one. Okay, now we can follow the lab sheet here. So understand, the left part is for New Delhi and the right part for Melbourne user. Okay, so this T1, T2. Okay, this is replacing for T1. This coding for replacing from for T2. Okay, first we need to study the situation. Have you explained why T2 is entirely have to be combined into transaction document to argument? Actually, this argument, there is no fixed argument because this question asking about agreement, so that means there is no fixed answer. It based on your understanding, why you're understanding so far in this lab. Okay, for the pastas 9.1.1, so this is my agreement. My agreement is to maintain consistency. This is not combined into transaction. The other may not immediately update to quantity on hand of the product. For example, if the first statement of T2 run but it not other statement, the quantity of two products are missing in database. If the first statement of T2 run but not last statement, the quantity of two products are missing in database, and there is new order but no order product and quantity. Okay, now we can go to the credit task 9.2. At first we need to run this scenario. We can see run 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 7. We need to run it first. Okay, run the first statement of T2 on the right MySQL workbench. Okay, this one is first statement T2, this one is T2 T2 first statement at the right. Okay, just copy from here to here until semicolon semicolon. So semicolon means the statement. Okay, at the right, and then run. See, already here. After that, run all statement of T1 at your left. All statement T1 at left. Okay, see, this is the result. And can close it because since our interface is quite small here. And then run the test, the rest of T2 in the right. Rest of T2. Okay, we already done the first one, then the rest one is one. The rest. Okay, see what happened? Okay. And then copy all T1 into right workbench and run them. T1. This one is T1. Okay, right. Okay, so this is the result. And then commit T2 at your right workbench. Commit T2. So which one is T2 here? So this one closer. Okay, now we need to put commit. What you say? Commit. We run T1 at the left. Okay. So first commit first, then update, and then run. Okay. And then commit T1 at the left and run T1 again. Commit. Okay, now, okay, what isolation level are you looking at? Okay, this very straightforward. You just click the new SQL here and type show variables like tx isolation. Show like tx isolation. So this is the answer. The value is repeatable. Read. Okay, what does the transaction see the changes meant? Okay, for this answer, you can see here. This is my answer. And then why cannot T1 see changes of T2 when T2 commits? Okay, the answer, this I'm suggesting the answer lah. Depends on what you're finding. Changes of T2 is made in the middle of T1 transaction reads. Since this MySQL working at repeatable rate, T1 see the changes till T1 finish its current session and rerun it. Okay, what do we mean by repeatable rate, and do we have platform here in MySQL? So this is the command that we talk about, and then this throw a phantom in this MySQL since it insert in the middle of T1 transaction reads. Okay, what does the SQL say about the phantoms and repeatable rate isolation level? Okay, this one you can simply search at the Google what the answer. Repeatable rate, reading the same item with the same person always return the same result. Phantom means new row that pop up in the middle of a transaction. Okay, now we can go to the next credit task. Is subtask 9.2.2. Okay, at first we need to run the SQL statement here, at the above workbench. Okay, how? Just run set session transaction. Set section session transaction isolation level. Level read committed. So I can run here, and then we need to run again at the Melbourne site. Okay, now you can close it. Okay, now we can run this scenario. Run the first statement of T2 at your right, at the right. First statement of T2 at the right. Okay, which one is first statement? T2 at right. Okay, and then run all statement T1 at left. State T1 at left. So this is the answer, the result. You can close it and run the rest of T2 at the right. Commit T2 at the right. Then you can run the T1 at the left. So this is the T1. And commit T1 at left. Run the T1 again. Okay, so now the is the time to answer the question. How did the quarrel differ from ones in subtask 9.1? How can this difference lead to a loss update? Explain the difference in your report and list the necessary requirements to produce a loss update and read committed isolation. Okay, for question 9.22, so maybe this is the answer. Then this also answer. Okay, now we go to the first part. Did the committed isolation level higher? So it may be useful use even though you know no the danger of loss update. How a loss update prevented in MySQL using read committed solution level. Investigate using the online MySQL documentation. This one you can refer to the online MySQL documentation. So we can simply search at the Google, search MySQL documentation, so it will display here. So this is my answer. Using pessimistic scaling policy that prevent loss update. For example, if two transactions try to update the same row, the second transaction must wait for the first one to either commit, rollback, and if the first transaction has been committed. So this is the answer for 9.2.3. Okay, I think that's all for this lab session. I hope you can try this at your home, and then please submit. Don't forget to submit the previous lab, because I see there's a lot of the student that still didn't submit the previous task. I hope you can done it as soon as possible, because we now is near to the week of test. Okay, so when we near to the week of test, I think you will busy after this, and then of course after this you will have many work to do. For example, for this unit you need to submit the discussion task, and there is a student also targeting HD. They need to do the HD task also. But if you didn't submit the previous task, it's not worth. Why? Because this the minimum requirement of the pass is you need to submit all the assessment. This is the minimum requirement. I mean, if you want to pass, you need to submit the lab pass task and need to pass the test. Okay, so I think that's all for this week. So I hope we can meet in the future. Maybe I will conduct the online session for test and how to answer the test and how to do the HD and D task. Okay, that's all for today. Okay, thank you very much.